but that attack side has often still left stuff to be desired.
Agent Select coming through, and you were talking about the composition and hoping for change, but it doesn't feel like they are bringing it.
Yeah, I was hoping for a kit change because this composition is going a little bit out of favor. Like if you play the Viper, usually you're seeing a little bit more Euro, I think. I think that it's one of those comps where Gen G themselves are very good at it and everyone's copied it, and teams copying it don't look as strong. So we want to see them having identified their weaknesses against Mandatory and BBL and coming in hot. They need to make a statement here, in my opinion, against JobLife. JobLife have 2 substitutes. They shouldn't have been here in the first place. Rod were supposed to be here, so I think Enterprise need to use back against the wall, come out with a big
So do you think, because I'm looking at that then thinking, right, if they've not changed their comp, actually, right, they know they are the favorites against a team where they should be beating them. Maybe they don't want to take that risk of actually going and changing the comp, stick to what they know, stick to comfort, right, we've got enough of our structure, they can't compete with us on that level, just make sure that we avoid making any drastic mistakes, and it should be enough for us.
But to kind of be devil's advocate then, it's like JobLife has also seen them play this before, so they know what to expect from that as well, which means if there is any prep, which obviously there will be, they will have counter strats ready and available. That should make Enterprise's life, if anything, more difficult.
It can, absolutely. It will make it more difficult than just giving them something completely different to adapt to. And then you start to look at, right, team psychology of, okay, are they a team that actually would rather just stick to their guns, they know what they're doing, they're confident that even if the other team preps, they're still going to win, or would they make it even more difficult for them?
Well, to see whether or not the team psychology plays out for both of these rosters, we are ready to head into our first map of this elimination game with Enterprise against JobLife with our casters, Mitch and Tom.
Thank you very much, Ginny. Yes, it's time to get into this matchup elimination here at Ascension. I mean, one of the biggest days for these teams, a lot of pressure, and they've only had that one game here in the studio. It's a really big day for these guys.
We're losing a Champions finalist on, like, what, day 3? I almost said 2 because we weren't here yesterday, but day 2 for us. And already somebody's going home. It feels a little bit off, but I don't know. I'm excited to see what they brought. Obviously, for JobLife, it's still very much you kind of have to keep things to the basics. You're trying to go with what you already know and love for some of these players, and everybody else just filling in the gaps, which I think is the best way that you can possibly do it. On the other side of things, I also agree with the desk. I was kind of hoping that maybe we get a compositional change, but again, clearly sticking to comfort over going for anything new.
For JobLife, an attack side start for Enterprise, I think favorites for most people, but you have to imagine JobLife expected the Ascent to come through here today, and with Haven up first, maybe they've got a chance. A sneaky play inside the orb on C long, but as that will fall, it's time to push forward, giving up control of Garage. They need to take this long control, and it's Shin who stands in their way. He finds one before falling, and the whole squad comes through to trade. I love that from JobLife, the adaptation. And now they go back to the C site for a plant, but it's all up to Cadaver to keep that space, and he falls to Zeke, leaving it to a 3v3.
Yeah, that's a tough loss to take. Like, that was the advantage, sort of slipping away from them in that battle. The aggression not working out, and a nice shock dart has already left Starzo incredibly low. Stonesy looking to push aggressively and has Starzo alongside him. Gives that man advantage back, but they have not given this up just yet. Zeke with a chance to catch players once again. The dart could be perfectly placed, but he's caught with it in hand, leaving Yaz as the only one left alive. And well, it's JobLife to get that pistol onto the board and start things off strong.
I don't mind this as a start, though, for Enterprise. I like the idea inside the orb. When they don't get contact, they realize we can go back or forward, but we got to make a decision. They do the right thing, but it's JobLife adapting to take that fight to them. It doesn't allow free space to be taken. It doesn't leave those players from Enterprise in the back of their minds. Like, if Shin still has long control, he can go Garage and group with the team, but the whole round you're going to be wondering, can we peek long? Is it safe? Is it clear? Instead, they take that fight early. And again, you see the opportunities for someone like Cadaver to make that round even more convincing by going deep towards the spawn. Obviously, he gets caught, but a close one in the end. Ultimately, Enterprise left with Classics will be presumably a 2-0 start for JobLife. They've invested heavily.
While this is just Classics, are we going to talk about who you're supporting today?
I'm an impartial commentator. Okay. We know that. We always know that.
Should we say who you have dinner on the line against? Is that coming up?
That might not feed into my impartial narrative I was spinning there, but sure, yeah. Myself and Pal had a little conversation in the green room, or the blue room as we're calling it, earlier on today, and Pal seemed pretty convinced that it will be Enterprise taking the dub here today. I, on the other hand, I have faith in Cadaver. I think he came in as a stand-in and looked absolutely phenomenal in their games earlier.
You have faith in just Cadaver?
I have faith in the rest of them too, but most of it in Cadaver. I mean,
Okay.
Seaboff, obviously, we saw him in the main league performing very well.
To the
Shin is a great ace. It might do. It might do.
Is there a
What are you trying to imply?
Of certain players? Like, say, for example, if maybe Hype was playing in this tournament, you'd also have a lot of faith in his team.
Well, you know, I was a big fan of Hype on Apex just because the Apex
I know,
team,
whenever
I think
you
they've got a lot.
cast him, it seemed like you're a hater.
There was a few nanos that maybe, you know, could have been
The
the
funny thing is, he'll definitely see this as well. He
listen,
always does. Every
you know
time you get a DM.
You know I love you, brother. That's all that matters at the end of the day. It's what you and me know.
I always believed in you at every point.
That's absolutely not true. But we said it was just classics, and so far no damage. 2 kills here would be great for Enterprise with force reinvestments out of Job Life, and from what we've seen so far, that is not going to happen. These players just going down to the spike. Often these rounds can feel like formalities, and maybe sometimes those classics can overwhelm with numbers or with good positions.
Not this time.
Didn't happen this time, so it's an easy 2-0 start and a bit of a moneymaker round for Job Life.
Yeah, someone I want to highlight as well going into things, I want to have a look at, I think it's Yaj. I might not pronounce it correctly every single time, but I believe that's how it is said. And I'm looking at the sort of the Polish duelist to see what he's going to be able to do here. Because when I spoke to Zeke, he was the guy like, he's going to pop off. He's going to be our sort of focal point, someone we need to look at. And I think you see the experience across the rest of the team. Like, we know what we're getting from Killer, Zeke, Doma. Like, they have been around the scene for a long time. It's that duelist that I really want to see get off to a solid start, especially because although things didn't go amazingly, Stonesy with the sniper definitely had his moments.
I love that start. You know, for a second I thought they had an Odin. That was just a straight Vandal spam, I think, from Yash. And yeah, it is an Odin. Let me tell you, it's next game. But Yash managed to take down Starzo to almost half HP right off rip. Stripped him of shields as well. And we're going to see that a lot. That spam is directly countering what is just I mean, it's an easy one to adjust to, but what isn't a lineup of a Sova Dart that now you're not really going to be able to do as comfortably as the rounds go on, knowing that, well, you could very well be taken down in the process. They're not a bad start in terms of chip damage for Enterprise, but they've yet to really get a lot of information until that drone goes down. Now they've seen players on long. They're hearing the Neon as well. But Job Life are going back. You see 3 players inside the window. Now the other 2 on their way. It looks like this is being sold as a ruse, and it kind of has worked, although there's still the Killjoy utility and, of course, Starkey to deal with over here on B.
Yeah, he's going to be sat trying to survive. Oh, nice shot onto Starzo at least, but has support. The trade's going back and forth, but in the end, well, it looked like Killer's got a multi-frag, but he didn't. Yeah, stole both of them away. It will be a round onto the board for Enterprise, and a fairly important one of that, because, you know, it was a weaker purchase. There was still some danger with the sniper in hand for Stonesy. But this next round is where you kind of expect things to get a little more interesting, and for Enterprise, at least keeping the majority of people alive was important.
Without a doubt. Now here on the attack side now, curious to see how well Job Life can do. You know, we're going to see, for those of you playing ranked right now, you're used to a different game, right? You've got a lot of changes to how these agents are working. I think in particular Cadavra, we'll see if he sticks with the Cypher when things change up after Ascension, because those trips, they're just not as usable. But right now, a little bit more so. Stonesy, good for the first, but what a response from Zeke. And this was all just posturing from Job Life, right? They've spread into a default. They wanted to put pressure on A, but now the pressure is very much on them.
Right, in the game, we saw from Enterprise already in the tournament, Zeke was the man that sort of sat at the top of the board. Some quieter performances elsewhere, but he was showing that a man who was a previous Champions MVP back in 2021 definitely still has some of that individual brilliance. For now, though, they're going to walk back into the same angle, maybe expecting that, okay, they got 2 kills, we fell back, not going to expect us still to be here, but Yaj on the other side is patiently waiting. And with the spike down, the remaining 2 have to try and run into this. Already Zeke has got his teammates back, and Cadavra is all that stands. 3 to find.
30 seconds left.
The only real good thing is he's managed to retrieve that spike. Heading back anywhere, Mitch, is going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, we can see he has the space, right, but 20 seconds, time to go, and there could be someone on the flank to deal with to slow him down. 15 now. Decisions have to be made. Even thinks about going for the orb, but the risk there of the re-swing up in heaven, not worth it at all. Kadavra makes the call to save the weapon, carrying it through to the next. They've got a relatively good shot at a buy. This is a good response from Enterprise, and really it just starts with that long fight. Two players going out swinging. They find the first. That gives them that little bit of momentum. They try to build off the back of it with Zeke so very low, and yet he ends up grabbing even more in the late round, ending up on a triple kill before it's done. A solid defense at the A site, and I think for Job Life, you've got to go back to the drawing board in terms of how you put that pressure on early, because those dry swings, they got the opening, but with a response like that, it really wasn't worthwhile.
Well, there is at least still going to be a buy of sorts, but unless surely the HUD must be playing tricks. I'm seeing a lot of shields missing. I feel like that. I must be getting bamboozled, but we'll see. Or Kadavra's decided to save a little bit of extra cash. Who knows?
No, he's got 37 shields. Yeah, the HUD's a little funky. Okay, yeah, that was a real head scratcher of an economic decision, but all right, in we go. The B site going to be taken, and Enterprise have put heavy numbers on A, deep push on C for info as well, so they don't really have a choice to contest. But that swing from Stonesy gave an opportunity, not one that Killaz could capitalize on, and instead it's going to be Job Life, spike planted, and man advantage in the post plant. And flank from Kata, that could be huge.
It's a long wrap around. It's up to his teammates to try and buy that additional time. Stonesy low, so can't really peek, but just the patience of Kata will get one for free. And even just a minuscule amount of Zeke spotted is enough to him to find that frag. A lot left still to do, and while the sniper will at least catch one, Starkey has an opportunity, but that time is ticking away, and I think he's realized that just trying to bait some people into that spike as he will look to retreat. Job Life immediately back onto the board. They will reclaim that lead.
It might have looked like a super late flank coming in from Kadavra with the spike already being tapped, but the key thing here was the gamble from Job Life that they had the utility, first of all, to keep those players off spike. You saw the aftershock going down. It's obviously going to cause some issues. And then with that little bit of extra time bought, that allows Kata to close that window in, wrap all the way up, and find himself two nice little one-taps. Closing this one 3-2 for Job Life and sending Enterprise down to the last-ditch buy. Their economy is going to be pushed to the limit here. If they lose this one, we could see a streak for the attackers. And it's going to be a change-up as well, a more direct hit towards the C site with a late lurk from Kata. But they've already got the rotates, and Yash gets the opening.
Yeah, he started well, but was stuck in the mud from the stun. Nowhere to go, but they were kind of hoping to explode off of Stonesy's ultimate. Not having that and a smoke quickly falling out of Starkey does mean that they've had to retreat. Now bear in mind there's still some weaknesses. Zeke is going to be there with a shotgun, but playing close on A. It means if they do wrap around, he'll have a few issues here and there, but from looking at the current posturing of the attack, it looks like they're trying to sell this same ruse. I think they might have a read that their opponents like to over-rotate, because they did this on A. They hit A, it didn't work, and then they go back again. It seems like they're going back maybe just to get the body, but they've got the reveal they wanted. Only one man here.
Unlimited utility to hold the space. It had to be bodies. But now with that util in return, the flashes should have forced them back. They stuck around a little too long, and Job Life able to grab a double as a result. Huge work from Kata and Sivov. And honestly, we've touched on the economy already. This could be where we just make the decision to go for the save if Zeke can grab one of those lost rifles. Going for this one here. It seems like they're going to roll the dice, but they have no control. Flanks, two flanks are coming in. Indeed, well, whether you consider Garage one or not, certainly Shin is in with a huge opportunity to close, and they'll at least grab the Hunter's Fury out, which I'm honestly quite surprised at.
Yeah. I didn't expect that to be used, but clearly just wanting to make sure they convert the round. And I guess when looking at it, you do only have yourselves a very low amount of economy left on the other side. So you're kind of just thinking, okay, if we can remove all of those weapons, it ends up being much more of a benefit. We don't have to gamble any of our own. A pause being called by Enterprise, and you kind of understand why. They had a couple of fairly clean rounds, but this one I do feel like the reads coming out of Job Life have been a decent one. Like, okay, we can hit into this side, we can fall back, and then we can go for the same hit again, and they will have rotated away.
I think as well, like, you look at the Hunter's Fury, that's a benefit for Enterprise. Having the weapons here might have helped them, but a full buy would have been tough to come by anyways. And I think the reality is, for Job Life, they had to commit that because of the positions they were in. Shin was coming through B, Kadavra was in Garage, and then you're kind of relying on two players. Like, the position of the spike doesn't allow Breach to put any util down, so you have to just spam through a smoke. And you really want to gamble the round on the spams, like, you got two players to do it, there's a good chance you win it. But if he sticks that inside the smoke, yeah, you're going to wish you put the Hunter's Fury through. So guaranteeing the round, but it is a valuable piece of utility removed, and especially when Enterprise in the coming rounds will have a lockdown to work with. That's going to be massive then to not have that counter on the other side, allowing them much more freedom to play the retake on A, which I think they don't really need to do looking at how their A hold's shaped up so far, but it's good to have that in your toolbox.
Yeah, I guess maybe in that round they could also just like hold Aftershock, Shock Darts, like try and keep other pieces of utility or try and bait it out early. And I think that might be the bigger worry for me thus far, is that I feel like, although it's not worked every single time, I think Job Life have definitely been playing with the rotations of their opponent to try and find easier entries into the site. Wow, a complete change of pace as they do go for this early fight once more. The spams, though, have worked out. And more importantly, that's Shin, so any ruse being sold is likely gone. Look at the defense, though. 3 players already within this back site. I wonder if the drone will have caught them.
They still only have those pistols, right? That's why they've got this rotation. We've seen this wall in play, having a lot of value, but once it drops, Yash is in the open. He's taken down easily, and they start to fall one by one, crumbling. Doma stands tall. Only one found with 30 HP left. He's got to be careful. Wants to swing with a teammate, and indeed, the bait-in has not worked. Starzo quickly flicking over to take both players and leave Zeke in a 1v3, ghost in hand. And look, if they give up space, he could grab a rifle on sight. But first, he's got to get past Kadavra. Oh, and he's done so relatively easily. There's a rifle, and now a 1v2. This is looking a bit more manageable till Starzo catches him.
I feel like that was almost a Starzo eco peak versus his old teammate. And he said that he was one of the people he was looking forward to play against in this tournament, and he's definitely got his wish. Again, though, I think something I'm impressed with so far in this map, and something I think they struggled with a little bit more so in their last, is the mid-round calling. I think when you have a team that has pieces missing or has got new pieces to the puzzle, what they did in this round was basically they go super aggressively, they lose their controller, but once they get the site, it's the bait of the spike. Like just tapping it and expecting peaks. Everybody was ready, everybody was prepared, everybody was on the same page. It'll be interesting to see if that carries on into the defense, but so far on the attack for Job Life, it's been going great.
5-2. Investment from Enterprise. A lockdown, soon to be online with no counter on the other side. It could help them if they have to play a retake on the site. And with Job Life putting early pressure on A, keeping 3 in position, this is a big gap in terms of the info Enterprise are working with. The drone's going to be sent out on short on A to try to make up for that. It spots that no one's here. That's also heard by Kadavra. He gets the rotational information. There's 2 players stepping towards the B site. This is a lot to work with for Job Life. They know now that B is going to be that little bit harder to take, but with Kadavra running into the op, they want to go for it anyways, and Stonesy's going to be caught. The movement not good enough to keep him alive.
Yes. It's definitely a gamble of space taking. They've left Starzo in position. Scatter. And the TP. Is he going to stick that with the spike? It looks like it. Seavolve waiting, and I guess that was the plan. Just leave as many pieces behind as possible. And then get themselves into the post plan of the A site. Timing here is going to be everything. And while they were very ready for that backstab, lockdown put into play, and this leaves a lot of very awkward positions to be had. The only spot that's really safe is one that will be expected, and a run all the way back is just patiently waited for by Starkey. It's been a great round so far, but a man like Shin in the clutch is always going to be a danger. The problem, though, is now he's just too far away.
Nothing that can be done from this point. In fact, even changing the player diffusing to get the Viper's pit online, that's a little bit risky. But luckily, they won't be punished for it.
He must have just been sat there like,
why is it not
Why is that? There's been enough time.
One enemy remaining. It's a strange one. Well, at least then there's going to be the Viper's Pit online for Enterprise, and it works out. I mean, there was no real way that Shin could have made it close. He would have had to TP across. I think it was Yash holding long, and then there'd still be an extra player on site. So no matter what, I think that was going to be one locked down in favor of Enterprise, and they do well to get the ulti online. We come into this one, Job Life obviously still able to make that investment, stuck on the 5 rounds, but this was a necessary bounce back from Enterprise. They lose that round, and this gets out of hand real quick. Instead, they've still got a chance early on here. Drone used super early because they feel that pressure coming down with the smoke, and it's a good job. Yash now going to be backing off a little bit. He's got a second position to play with Op, and it should be an opening pick for him. Waiting to see, though. I imagine the breach flash is going to be popped.
Oh, a bigger problem. They've lost a player on B, so he may even lose his support in a moment. And in fact, Job Life had decided, you know what? We don't need to commit to this anymore. We don't need to take this fight. Viper's Pit down, and one that if they can get space, could easily wrap him from behind. Instead, though, they are just going back to where they found that initial pick. Starkey has definitely had some trouble at defending this site. Dart's going to be thrown through. Looking like they're going to try and wrap on him.
I think they're almost given no choice here. I don't think they necessarily knew where that pit was until just this moment. Yash taken down by Shin. I don't know if he was even spotted by Stonesy, who looked very quickly to be moving towards spawn, and the B hit has ended up working out. So, trouble defending it, but Starkey's coming back in to retake before the spike is even planted, and he's done so much to keep Enterprise in this round.
Hit dropped, but timing works wonderfully.
Right here.
They are being caught off guard time and time again. Stonesy spotted the barrel. That will at least be one for free. Does he expect the second? He does, and he's done well. Sivov combines alongside him, and what was getting incredibly dangerous for the side of Job Life is saved by the Ukrainian.
At the very start of the round, we saw that pick go down, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there was no deep information from the attacking side towards that A site, so they might have even thought that it was there initially. Then they go towards B, they pop the drone, confirm it's not there, and only when they step into garage do they see where the pit is. So I think that's really good thinking on their feet, realizing that what looked to be the initial plan, go through garage, pressure C site late after you've already taken down the killjoy early, it ended up having to be an adaptation that worked out. Because they took Yash down, they opened that space. Good attempt by Starkey, but not quite enough this time. Now we see Job Life resetting towards this A play. But last time, it was an operator. This time, Enterprise don't quite have that level of investment.
Yeah. The ult could help them out a bit, but very situational. Oh, wow. Clearly being methodical once again. The battle of the Sovas, the battle of the X Ascend. This time, will go the way of Zeke. I've heard MBS is watching with love for all of his children, is the quote that he said when I asked him who he loved the most. Difficult question, although one of the teams does technically have 2 of his ex-players, so I feel like he should be rooting for that one, but we'll move on. I digress. In this round, heavily favored to Job Life, especially with the Rolling Thunder available. Info will be garnered, but nothing really to stop the post plant other than a little tickle damage.
Well, it ends up being a lot of tickle damage. The vulnerability leading into a free pick from Killaz. That was really nice.
Kind of good with the sniper, right?
Yeah, he seems to be locked in, that's for sure. Doma stepping through this smoke. He's going to have a teammate coming from window, but the Rolling Thunder catches him just in time. He's thrown up into the air and out of the round with Killaz in a 1v3. He did well to find one with the classic. That player was in a snake bite, hit by the vulnerable. This time, not quite the same. At least he's got the rifle. That
Another stun
is perfect. 7-3 now. Job Life, they've got that commanding lead.
That was a good round by Sivov. I think obviously when you're up against a low buy, sometimes you don't really want to be using ultimates, but I think that was necessary. And yeah, a disgustingly quick shot from the sniper. A little bit unlucky. Doma was very close to being through. And I like the fact that you actually see Stonesy was watching the window, because that was the one place they were vulnerable when that Rolling Thunder went through. But he was very aware. And after, as I said, some okay rounds in their last match, but ultimately a bit of a shakier performance, he's looking very good in this game.
Yeah, it's always good to see that resurgence. A little bit of extra comfort built
especially with his roll as well. He's just been diving into sight. So to be positive, fair play.
Yeah, and had his mark on a couple of big rounds, giving Job Life this lead.
Oh.
Shock Dart goes through. Utility stands its ground, just on the edge of it.
Here.
So this Behold, well, it doesn't need as much nurture and care as you sometimes would. With Alarm Bot and the drone, this has now disappeared. There's going to be a gap at least towards Garage, but with the B site still held down by the Alarm Bot, they can cover that in with some manpower if they want. They're not. They're going to leave it open.
A lot of this map has felt like Enterprise really trying to grasp where Job Life are going to end up. And I feel like a lot of the time they've ended up wrong. Now with the utility still in play, they're very quickly going to realize that they're trying to push into the site, but it doesn't matter. Stonesy again is going to get the opener, but the rest of the team haven't necessarily dived this way. The ruse, though, hasn't worked. 2 players sit within this A site, 30 seconds left.
Still full utility. You've got the Paranoia, the Flash. Seavoff stun should be coming online soon, but Shin goes down. No Paranoia to work with. No smokes to get them back through. Got to go find space elsewhere. The B site, the new target, and it's being left open. That Alarm Bot still standing late in the round. Might give them the information. In fact, it won't even. The plant is now secured.
They'll know they're not A-Link, though, and that's actually fairly important. They know they're not aggressive there.
Could be a push around the back side, but that's now being cleared by Starkey. And a ton of information to work with. The only gap is this play coming through from Kata, but there is even a turret.
Okay.
The turret's got it on lockdown, and Kata can hear it. He wants to try to get ahead of it, but barely misses the shot. Starkey surviving. Seavoff does well. Wrapping around that backside player up top is not going to be caught as Starkey finds his third. Starzo's left alone, and he won't even get another to add to the tally. It's Enterprise bouncing back with a fourth. They can still make this a decent half.
Yeah, good round from Starkey again. Like, he's definitely had his moments in this game thus far, and you can see that they're being a little bit more hesitant with their rotations. Like, the early pressure into B wasn't enough for them to rotate off A. They expected the double back, and then this one was a little bit more panicky from Job Life. You had to go running, and that was where they were able to just play the retake as a squad with those extra numbers. A chance to bring this half at least close, especially when you consider that the pistol was won by Job Life. It would put the buy rounds as even.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
But even still, we haven't seen much of a streak since round 3 and 4 for Enterprise, so don't be surprised to see an 8-4 half.
Being down.
Hunter's Fury online for Starzo and Zeke. Comes to taking that plant, or even the post plants on long for both sides. That can be heavily impactful. Straight play towards the C site. Many players here hiding behind the wall. Shin gets around it, but he's caught by Kill as Hunter's Fury put through to try to give them an opening. It finds one with Stonesy, able to convert. Damage is done as well, but players falling on the side of Job Life. Spike in the open. Cadaver does well to pull back one, and they know that Starkey's here. He was hit by the Hunter's Fury. He was revealed, and there goes the drone as well. Info on 2. Don't even have to be worried about the flank with the trap positionings and the route that Kata took. They know that's secure, and the cam being checked here and there. Starkey, he's taking a risk when this cage falls.
One enemy
back to where his teammates can cover him. Nicely done. Kata has a near impossible clutch, but he makes it damn close. In the end, it's a 7-5 scoreline at the half.
Yeah, a decent resurgence at least, but ultimately still a lead coming through from Job Life. We'll see if they're going to be able to convert their map choice after the break.
One enemy remaining. Spike down. One enemy remaining.
Welcome back, folks. It's time to find out how this story ends on map number 1, the map pick of Job Life, and they do have the lead after the halftime, 7-5, but it has been a close affair.
But do you remember how many rounds they got when they played the defense versus Ulf?
Well, that was Ulf.
Okay.
It wasn't.
But do you remember?
I don't remember the number.
2. It was the pistol in the second round. They really struggled. And I think that's going to be the case with a team where you haven't had much time to practice. The synergy of the defense can be very difficult, but they've started off strong once again with the pistol. Shin already with a double from up top and Kadavra to support. Conversion here would give them a much bigger buffer.
Sevov's tucked in the corner, chance to pull this round back, and damage done, but 3 versus 2 still. For Enterprise, if they could have isolated that, made it through to the C site, they'd have a much better chance, but Zeke, 70 HP, 1 versus 3. The spike still to be planted, they know exactly where he is. Nobody looking to give this over as an individual fight. You can see Shin and Kata grouping, and just the reveal sent out to lock him down. It should be a formality. Starzo needs to be careful, and he is. Look at that, just falling back, baiting his opponent further into the fight until his teammates are there to cover him. I love that as we end up with an 8th on the board. As you said, Tom, it was the pistol on the follow-up that Job Life found. They've at least managed to find the pistol here. But I will say, you know, up against Ulf, that team just felt like they were so oppressive. They were getting in the faces of their opponents. Job Life could never really find a safe spot to fight from. They could never find comfort. And I think it will be a challenge for Enterprise to match that. Not saying anything negative about them, but just how, well, first of all, Ulf's a Turkish team, and they play like one. And not many people outside of the Turkish scene play that way.
Yeah, I'm going to wait and see. Just because I do think that a lot of the time when you have stand-ins, when you have pieces missing, calling a solid attack side, like if you have someone who's a decent leader, which I think Starzo is,
yep,
I can see that working. Defense, a lot of the time it is more that natural synergy of a team that's been together a while. So them only having 7 days of practice, which has now gone up to maybe 8 or 9, including officials, it's definitely tough to get all of that right. If they have, fair play. For Enterprise,
defeated.
Oh, it could be a nasty surprise. This round, expectation almost 0. A plant is a mini victory in itself. Can they drop any guns?
Oh, well, Starzo is in a lot of danger. Somehow comes out of there with a kill. That's better than nothing. Doma and Zeke, they have an opportunity to do something here. There's going to be 2 coming in from spawn. If it was a waterfall out of heaven, I'd be very worried. That strat's usually not the best, even against the pistols. They do find a little bit more damage. Look, it's a costly second round for Job Life. It's Enterprise, even getting a plant out of this, they've got to be very happy with how that's gone.
Yeah, no, 3 kills and a plant is great. Obviously, the weaponry that was invested into from Job Life was pretty weak to begin with. The fact that we've just watched Stonesy go and pick up a stinger kind of says all you need to know about what they put into this round, but even still, an important one to be taken home.
I wonder if someone's going to be put in frenzy jail here just to keep that economy a bit more healthy, because they did recover that as well. And yeah, Starzo, he's being put in frenzy jail. Unlucky, man. Unlucky. Couldn't get anything better off the floor. And those rounds, you really hope your buddy has a sheriff or something. But
genuinely, when you're up against full shields, is a classic not better. Like I don't want to be a frenzy hater. It has its moments, but full shields does not feel like where I want to be using it.
It has its moments, just very few of them.
We'll see. Maybe they'll prove us wrong. But this is I don't want to say a chance. This is a necessity for Enterprise to get themselves back into this map. As said, I think the attack side is where they can definitely have their run of things. But versus mandatory last time out, it didn't exactly go to plan at 5-7 attack side, which definitely wouldn't be enough here.
You can see the info gap for Job Life. They had to put down a cage on C-Long just to clear into Garage. Once that cage falls, you're not going to waste all your utility, so giving up the C side instead to hold on to the Garage control. Gambling here that the play will be towards B. Starzo, he is not safe.
He is dying.
Corner. He's dead. Oh, 1 HP. And he goes back in.
That was
all right, now here comes the drone.
The funny thing is, that was Killer's own wall that let him survive. I guess he just thought no one's going to sit there for that long and go down to 17 HP. So I get it, but it shouldn't play a part at all. The main thing will be Cadaver. The one rifle, he knows that they're on the other side. The only thing he has is the element of surprise, and guess what? They weren't surprised. Waiting on the other side. Plant going down very late. Doma with a chance to just clean up here. That frenzy from afar stinks. And well, a clean round from the side of Enterprise, exactly what they needed.
Oh, that's a huge one. Yeah, a flawless round, building up a lot of credits for that attack side. And I think really they did well, whether intentionally or unintentionally, in finding that gap towards the C site. There was pressure put in early towards Garage. No real responses coming in from their opposition, and they just kept pushing the boat until they were out at sea. For Job Life, still a 3-round gap though, quite a bit to play with. And Stonesy, he's come in on the operator. Yeah. This is going to be a big factor if it's challenged. Already I can see Starkey towards the C site, but because it's an Omen, I'm not expecting them to just go wide out.
That's why they save so much cash. I was looking at it and just like, okay, you've saved so much not investing anything really, but they really want that sniper, and I can understand why from his first performance. I think it was on the bind. He had a really good operator. Cadaver already under pressure.
Cage triggered.
And a lot of this is, I feel, going to be on Killers to keep control of that A site, not allow any information to go the other way. It means they can roam the map almost for free. The reaction, though, from Job Life is to get aggressive on C long.
Yeah, they put that cam down deep, spotted nobody, and now tucked in the corner as a result. It's going to be something to deal with if Enterprise go this direction, but you can already see an exodus of this side of the map. Enterprise moving towards A. The drone's already going down. It's going to spot them as well. That's not ideal for the attackers. They wanted to catch that timing. Maybe even send Job Life rotating towards the B site, playing a little bit lighter on A. Instead, Starzo's going to be here. He's got backup. He's getting straight into the smoke. Look at where Cadaver's gotten to. That play down C long, the presence seen on A, it initiated his timing, and he is right behind them. That turret is not covering him. He'll get to peek out the window. Hell, if he goes to window now, there's 4 players looking the other way. This could be an absolute massacre from Cadaver. He's got freebie after freebie, and a double pickup. The spike planted, but who is left to defend it? As these players have fallen, they look for control elsewhere. Stonesy, he's going to be caught up close, but there is a big retake coming in on B.
Yeah, where does Zeke even go from here? It's like you're completely surrounded, and Kata is just waiting on the other side. They're defusing the spike, and while Zeke just has to go for an all-in play, there's nothing that Doma can do from this situation, and that is going to be a round that I think they're going to watch back 100 times over and wonder how on earth Cadaver managed to get that far with nobody noticing.
It is literally just that drone. The fact that the drone found the control on A, saw a controller there, that was the player, let's keep in mind, that was towards C earlier on. And so Kata immediately goes, oh, well, if he's gone from here to there, chances are I've got a bit of space to work with, and his timing was perfect, slipping into spawn just as they came back to check it. We had the criticism on the first day of players not clearing that C long push. Well, Enterprise did. They just missed that timing by half a second, and that's what ends up basically crumbling the round.
By the way, look where the alarm bot is this round.
Interesting. They seem to be worried about a C long push.
I think they've gone, right, that's not happening again. And the problem is they've lost their star duelist on the other side. It's a fight versus Starzo. Aggressive push from Stonesy. Starkey is still watching this angle. The thing is, losing that control on A, it feels like it's forcing them in. Last time he did get caught, but this time he'll be the one doing the catching. Zeke gone, escaping around the corner, and there is no chance for a refrag.
Yeah, very nicely done. I think he had to temper his aggression. Well done by Doma. He seems to be the kryptonite to Stonesy. Managed to open up the C side completely. Lockdown coming through, but there is a Hunter's Fury to counter. It's a little far away, but now making it to the back of B site, and they decide not to commit it. They're going to give up the space, leaving Kata to try to find something in Garrett, and then it comes in late, denying the plant instead. They're looking to buy as much time as they can. That's a great tag, and not quite the finisher.
They will be able to get into the post plant on the Enterprise side from a position that looks almost damning. Doma has managed to bring them back. A flank, unfortunately this time, is going to be spotted. There's no way anybody on the other side should be caught out by Shin. But they are all focused in on the players towards spawn.
This paranoia from Shin. He can throw it through, but it's not come in until a little bit later, until they spotted someone, and it will lead to 1 kill, but that is all.
That aftershock missed, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think that was supposed to be a little bit deeper, and because of that, they were just able to sit in the corner. Like, you run it, like, I agree, the paranoia would normally go through, but you've gone, okay, that's clear, I don't need it for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were waiting, right? They're waiting until they see someone. They don't want to just throw paranoia to clear an angle. They want to hit it for a kill, so they wait until that first bit of contact, but exactly as you said, that angle's not clear when they expect it to be. And both players on the close right getting caught. Doesn't matter in the end because they've already got their kills as a result of a small blip in the utility game. That's a timeout from Job Life after seeing this round crumble, and we will see a 3-round gap when this comes through. For Enterprise, starting to heat up a little bit here. They've been trading rounds back and forth, but this is their chance to really hit Job Life hard if they win this round.
That round was all Doma. Like, I think the fact that he gets the opener into the site, but then also re-aggresses and just, he looks for timing. He goes, okay, if someone's coming out the window, they're going to jump down the stairs. If I get this right, I win the round. If I get it wrong, we lose the round, but we're kind of already losing.
Exactly.
So it's just he put them in a position where they could win. And those are the sort of plays that, well, you don't get invited as a sub to go play Champions just for the day if you're not a guy who can help turn rounds on their head. So good to see him putting in that performance. A 3-round gap, but as said, I do feel like Job Life are going to have a tougher time over on this defense. An early pause taken. And normally when I see a Bucky, I'm expecting it to be maybe on Stonesy. Oh, thank you, Shin. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I was like, really? You're not going to give it to the guy who can slide around at the speed of sound. You're going to stick it out yourself on an Omen.
One orb away from a Rolling Thunder for Sevov. Stonesy in the same spot for his ulti, but it's this op on the attack side. As I said, Enterprise have a good opportunity to win this round, and you're putting Job Life into an economic disaster. You won't be able to buy up, and you can close that gap in real quick. Build up an economy of your own. You have to be cautious. I've seen that play towards C bite them, whether it was the flank, whether it was the op pushing down. This time there'll be 2 players ready and waiting. In the early stages, before it was just 1 up top. Because they've got a much more passive A-hold, and it looks like Job Life are going to walk right into this. A big opportunity now for Yash, if he can find that shot on the op.
He's not been having the performance they've come to expect from him when playing through challenges. Ascension hasn't been his tournament so far, but it is just patience. The same for the defense. They are happy to play these 1-2 punch setups. They've been doing this a lot between Stonesy and Starzo. The round again has ground to a halt. 30 seconds up and coming on the clock, and they still haven't discovered this position. They try and bait it out. The second player is completely blind, but they have not yet cleared Starzo from position, and they're going to go running back. 20 seconds left on the clock for them to make this move, Mitch. This is a gamble and a half.
Trip just got broken on B, though. It's going to slow down the rotates, putting a bit more pressure on the side players. 10 seconds on the clock. It's time to go. That spike needs to be planted, and they've got a spot safe. Spam's coming through, but nothing lands, and there it is. Time no longer an issue. Players are, though. Look at the flank here from Starzo. Hunter's Fury pop, but Starzo's already on them. He's picked up a double, but so is Doma, looking to save another round for Enterprise, but he can't make it out into Garage. An 11th on the board for Job Life, and a crucial round for Enterprise fails to connect.
I was about to say, Starzo stood up, and that's why he's not defusing. Always immediately back up. Yeah, that dart is definitely gone a bit of a miss, but it's the flank again. It's something we've spoken about quite a bit with the amount of space that has almost disrespectfully been taken. But I think with those flanks, like 2 rounds being won alone by people coming up behind you, I think if you asked me which team was playing with the stand-ins, I don't know if I'd say Job Life.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it right now. It's a very different defensive side than what we saw before, and I think an element of that is just Enterprise. They're trying to play the map, they're looking for information, and there's always those little, not always, but there's in the rounds they're losing, there's those little blips, whether it's the flank, whether it's the op being able to go through and find that pick, or whether here it was that deep A aggression, the little bit of info.
And the time, like it feels like they're not figuring things out quickly enough. It looks like that's the idea here. Change of pace, immediate garage control. Trip to block them, but also a lot of utility being thrown in early, at least baiting some of that out. But it does mean that once again, See them fall back. Ultimates galore on the other side as well, so even if it ends up in a retake scenario, JobLife probably won't mind too much.
Oh, here's a risk being taken. Starzo droned out. He's decided to back off. I saw him walk down short with all these players from Enterprise, indeed all of the players from Enterprise stepping towards A. I was worried, but he has backed off. Now the info coming through. You've got smokes, you've got the reveal that's going to get the paranoia out of Shin, buying a bit more time, but the rotate's still not coming through. JobLife not convinced that this is going to be a hit towards the A site, and you can't blame them. When Enterprise have so frequently decided to go back, 30 seconds, the only control they have is a turret towards mid. That's blocking out Garage and B pushes, but they don't know about C. There could be a player in their spawn right now, and hell, in previous rounds there have been. And with JobLife being so patient, being so used to this style from Enterprise, they're just waiting. This is going to be a slaughter. And Rolling Thunder will end the round, and it seems like that's exactly what's going to happen. Up to, oh, nice shot by Yash. He was hit by the stun, still manages one, but the plant needs to come in here and now. No time if they cancel this plant, but Kata can't quite stop it. Enterprise somehow recovering. They need to deal with Kata, and he's done some damage.
Yeah, they've managed to, with half a second to spare, get that spike down, and now for the remaining two, it seems like it's going to be impossible. It looks like Doma has taken some of Boaster's strats and brought them into this Enterprise team, but leaving Shin alone always has some risk about it. Not this time, though. I don't know how Enterprise have come out with that one with a dub, but luckily we've got two geniuses and Pal on the desk who'll be able to break it down afterwards.
Oh no, this is insane. The fact that it comes down to a fraction of a second. All that needed to be done was deny that, and of course Kata, having already had his teammates fall, what's he going to do? Swing up top on Plat? The Rolling Thunder was committed. Yash was able to hit a phenomenal shot that gave them the chance. Oh, Pal's just come in to wave at us.
Yeah. He gave me a thumbs up, I think.
I think so. I only saw it in the corner of my eye.
Well, Enterprise won the round. They took a pause. I wonder what could have been the reason for that.
No, everything went according to plan.
Yeah,
so
I reckon
it was probably JobLife. It's probably a graphical error.
There you go. It is the French support. no surprise there. But no, I genuinely, that round came down to literally half a second. I want to point out as well that Zeke, before planting, shot out a dart. Like, literally, it was 5 seconds. He was like, dart, right, and now I plant. I was like, that's next level confidence. Just to be like, I have enough time. Like, I think I would have been bricking it in that moment. But they have been playing the rounds very late. I don't think that was ever going to be a sustainable way to do it. Like, that was so ridiculously close, especially with the Rolling Thunder. I think that Rolling Thunder hit them at 10 seconds left on the clock. It's definitely something that's going to make you sweat, but they've made it work. Kept themselves in the map, more importantly, because a loss there would have pretty much determined the map. That would have been 12 on the board.
Ready.
And 5 in a row needed. Instead, the economy of JobLife has been wrecked, and Enterprise is still in with a chance.
It's funny, we've got Cairo sitting in the green room while Enterprise have just lived out the Halo 2 mission. Cairo Station. How long was left? You don't want to know. Enterprise.
That's a reference like 4 people are going to get.
Hey, listen, any Halo 2 fans out there? You let me know. Let's get a lobby going. 3 rounds.
Does it even have online anymore?
No, it doesn't. I'll host it myself, don't worry. The 3-round gap. Enterprise doing well to come back into this. They put JobLife down to a weak bye. This is about as well as it could have went, especially when they did manage to fumble what was an opportunity earlier on to convert into this. But we still have that problem, that was seen in the last round, that hopefully the pause is addressed of those slow rounds. And although JobLife in the previous, they saw A pressure and they didn't rotate.
Okay. Everybody's
this time
on the
they have rotated because they've got those weak weapons. And the problem is Enterprise are trying to play off of the previous round. They fake A, they pretend they're going back, and now they're going to run into the stack. This is, I like what Enterprise are doing, but because it's an eco, you're more likely to commit to the first piece of info you get.
Oh, Raz is going to run into the blender, but luckily for them, he's going to come out on top using that overdrive to perfection. And they may have walked into the stack, but they're also going to walk out of it as well. One man standing, they've taken it flawlessly. Maybe they should just be hitting those sites if that's the way it's going to work. It doesn't matter who's on it. Obviously weaker weapons, but a lot of this was seeing that bit of star power, I know it's against pistols, but I want to see this man confident because, as said, when you look back to the regular season, you look back to the guy that seemingly made Enterprise tick, it was the Neon of Yash.
Well, the go stop goes worked out for Enterprise there. That little freeze in the mid round didn't cause any rotates, but they still managed to run over the site. That was because there were pistols in play. Won't get away with that in the rifle rounds from what we've seen. But I like that we're already seeing the adjustment to play with a bit more time on the clock. That was stressful a few rounds ago. A 2-round gap. Enterprise heating up. The defensive side taking a lot of damage. Starzo's left down to 60. Yash to 53. Pretty even trade in the blows early on.
Deploying drone.
Unavailable. It's going to give them some info, but as said, you can't really work much off of that info because of how Enterprise have been playing. It's a back and forth, and as you get the tag on one side, the drone's gone through on another. The only thing that worries me is the same deep control. We've seen this already. Bear in mind as well, there is no alarm bot there anymore. So if Kadavra goes walkabouts again, he has the space, and I can only assume Enterprise this time at least are going to be a little bit quicker.
I think that was the TP he was looking for. Although it has worked wonders. They're spraying him up top when he's already down below. Ready to catch some exiting sight. Seavoff was there with them, but Viper's pick going through. That's going to cause some issues. Flank underway from Kadavra. They are very ready for this. 2 players playing deep in mid, 1 watching the garage walkout, but it's not just going to be Kata, it's going to be a triple. What a shot! A triple push with double coming out of the double doors. Kata picks up another, and it's only kill has left. They know exactly where he is. At least they're getting a glimpse here and there, and it's enough for Shin to drop him. A 12th on the board, Job Life doing it with 4 alive, even facing into that Viper's pit post plant. That's impressive.
They've done well, and again, they kind of suffer with the players wrapping in from behind. This time it was still that early pick from Canada that sort of opened everything up. You can see the team immediately react off that contact, and I think I was mentioning it before, it's been months and months since we've seen him play a professional match. In fact, it even talked about on Twitter that this might be his retirement. Well, we're currently sat with him top of the server in an Ascension elimination match. I think it might be a little bit too soon, Kata. I'll be honest with you. We need you back on the server again.
I've been saying this to him since about 14 seconds after that tweet went live.
Yeah.
It's good to see him performing out here. 12-9, 3 chances to close this out. Shin is wasting no time. Hunter's Fury's put through. That's cleared out a lot of the space towards A-Long, and that's going to be filled in by Shin, who just keeps on going, clears it out completely, and now they know pressure's coming in towards this C site. Camera's already spotted a few. It's an op shot missed, but Stonesy's gone down. And they know about Kata on the back side. If they look to pressure, though, they'll find Seavoff is here alongside him.
Doma has been one to bring them back time and time again, it seems. Lockdown, it's stopped the flanking, I guess. It still leaves them within the site, the aggression coming through, and that's worked out. A nice shot off the shorty. Starzo and Shin, though. And the spike in a horrific position. Starzo's actually going to re-aggress. They might not expect him to be here, but Starkey is watching, and now Shin. 1v3.
Spike planted.
Chance is slim. But always a chance. Starkey's actually just waiting within the smoke, and that will be easy enough.
That shorty blast was close, but not close enough. A win for the attack side, a gap up to 2. And I think for Enterprise, at this point, okay, I was going to say, they're in a pretty good spot to launch themselves back into this. They would need to put 3 in a row, which they haven't done so far in the attack. And it's actually Job Life calling a timeout. This is going to be their last timeout. I think the last timeout of this map, unless we go to overtime, which I think we saw at the start of the game. Enterprise have never gone to OT throughout the recent stage. So could be a new experience for them. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I think they're going to want that new experience rather than just losing the map. But
I think so, yeah.
It is their opponent's choice. But even still, I think you have to look at it from 2 different sides. For Job Life, I think, again, from what Starzo has said pretty much all the way through, like, they're a team with no pressure, a team that expectations are low because of the circumstances that they find themselves in, not being able to have 2 of their best players here, and then having to piece everything together towards the end. For Enterprise, they came in as one of the favorites. Like, throughout the entirety of the year, they've been fantastic. I believe in winning one of the stages as well, one of the few teams that has kind of been able to go toe-to-toe with BBL Pacific, which really hasn't been even they've struggled to do that, but they've been the closest. And losing that opening match, finding themselves in elimination, this is not how they want their story to end, and definitely not at the hands of a team that have so many struggles at this current time.
Yes, this should do.
All the timer ticking down for what could be one last time, but it's unlikely. Should be going the distance to 24 with, as we can see. That's a hard alarm, or a hard turret to get on top of the box, I'll say. That angle's always inconsistent, so, you know, unlucky Doma. But for Job Life, the investment is so weak. Can't really look at this and think that they're going to come out with the win, right? But the one thing going for them on the weaker investments is the rotations. They made the reads early, but that's something for Enterprise to think about. Last time, they faked out A, they went back, or they froze. And when they went into the A site, there were 5 players waiting for them. Now, obviously, there's a couple more upgrades this time around. A few more players that can feel independent and taking fights, like Shin currently looking at the garage cross, like Kadavra playing solo towards the A site, hoping his trips can find him a bit of space. Or, well, not so much space. Impact when the players come in to take space. But Enterprise play more global control in the early round, I think, as a direct response to the fact that they got red last time. Unfortunately, from what we're seeing, they're getting red again. There's 4 players towards A, this time, though, not quite in by the time the... Maybe they will be in by the time the push comes through. Enterprise delayed.
I think the TP being cancelled has started to throw doubt into the minds of Job Life. They've gone back the other way. They've left just one man standing. That one man has been phenomenal, though. Can Kadavra find anything? No, that plant is going to be in. And now with at least some utility to play with, but other than that, the weaponry doesn't stand out. And there's no ultimates, in fact, across the entire board.
Yeah, what we're looking at here is just a clear victory for Enterprise. Yash does well to start and ends up finishing off another. It's beautiful stuff across the board, and not even a hiccup to report back for Enterprise. Yash went a little low, but get it all under control. 12-11, one last round in regulation. And this is going to be the difference between a 1-0 lead for Job Life going into their opponent's map pick and a gruesome battle in overtime to decide this map.
This is where the pressure, frustration, and more importantly, you can see it from the coaching staff. They're not allowed to say a word. They can try and shout really loud, but I don't think that's going to work.
They're quite far away.
Yeah. Maybe if they have a foghorn with Morse code, but I think their players have bigger things to focus on. Aggressive start. In fact, an aggressive take.
I got spiked.
We've seen them push up, but this is definitely the furthest they've gone. With Shin potentially able to dominate this control, it would allow for an earlier rotation, but they are yet unaware of what awaits them on the other side.
Here comes the drone. Tucking in, not a great idea. Got to break it, and the first player does.
Going for it.
Oh, Yash gets caught. The paranoia on the other side from Shin, so impactful there. I mean, that would have been Starzo dead to rights. And instead, it's an opening pick for Job Life, but they do now know on Enterprise that there were 3 players towards this A site. With the From the Shadows, though, this C site looks a little bit better defended. The question is, which direction is Kata looking when push comes to shove? They've lurked up through Garage. They've taken the space.
Oh, Doma again. Managing to get that a little bit more aggressive, but it's very hesitant. Yet to really make that move, and now the re-aggression coming through. Kadavra has caught Starkey, and the remaining players didn't move. It's super hesitant from Enterprise, and now, well, if they are going to go for something, they've almost got to go back, but they don't know the space that has been lost. It's a full sprint across the map.
Oh, not to be.
Toxins going up.
B site can be pincered, but more importantly, Starzo ready and waiting, spikes down. 10 seconds left to play with them for remaining 2. There really is no hope, it seems. Doma trying his best, but the others are being revealed, and that spike is now down on the ground. Job Life have managed to take that opening map. They will be starting things off strong on their pick.